to this day, Japan remains one of my favorite countries to visit. But as much as I enjoy wandering neon lit streets of Tokyo, big cities aren't really my thing. Over the years, cycling has become sort of my go-to way to travel across the country. And this summer, I returned to Japan for just over a week, where I cycled 800 kilometers across Kansai and Chibu. And quite a few people have asked me about it, so in this video, I'm just gonna go over the entire trip, how I went about planning it, and hopefully encourage you to have a go at cycling the next time you visit Japan. Okay, as you can see, well, suppose you can't, but we're in the heart of Kyoto right now, literally 5 minutes away from Kyoto Station, and yeah, just had breakfast this morning, and today we're about to cycle about 90 kilometers from Kyoto all the way to a city called Wakasa, which is off to the west coast of Japan. So we'll basically follow the route right next to Lake Biwa. A little bit of backstory, I guess, because last year when I was planning this trip, I remember I really wanted to visit places where regular tourists wouldn't visit, and that was when I came across a photographer based in Fukui. Now his pictures of Fukui sort of has this Shinkai anime vibe to them. I remember just going through his feed and being like, oh my god, this looks amazing, I need to go there. And so I began sketching out a route along the west coast of Japan. And nowadays, if you're looking for route planners for your backpacking trips, there are tons of them online for you to play around with. Obviously Google Maps is one of the most convenient, but I wouldn't recommend placing a trust solely on Google Maps unless you want to end up somewhere in Narnia. But I guess for me, going in, I knew for a fact that I wanted to spend some time sightseeing as well. So I figured the most I could cycle a day would be around 120 kilometers or so. So after, just spending loads of time researching and asking around, I ended up with a route that spans across Kansai and Chibu, starting and ending in the city of Kyoto. Because I haven't done much bikepacking over the past couple of years, I wanted to start the trip off with a relatively short day one. After having some breakfast at the skier, I left Kyoto and made my way to Lake Biwa. 34 kilometers down, taking a quick water break. To be honest, it's not as hot as I imagined. It is very hot when you stop, but as long as you keep paddling and you keep going, the breeze just cools you down, so it's not too bad. About 2 kilometers from our lunch point, so we're pretty close. It's around 1 p.m. right now, so yeah, it's time for some food really.
So for those of you who are wondering about accommodation, in my previous trips, because we had different people joining along the way, everything had to be pre-booked. This time around, however, I decided not to book anything beforehand. So every day around noon, I go online to look for inns and hostels in the area basically. But that proved rather difficult on the first day as there was literally nothing in the area I was going to. I was originally planning to stay in the town of Wakasa, but all the places there were either fully booked or closed. But fortunately, after asking around, I did manage to go on Facebook and find a place in a nearby town. Well, so I thought.
Well, funny story. Apparently the place isn't open, and I don't think there's any hostel around here. So the closest town is around like 16 kilometers that way. So it's 5:15 right now, and I'm gonna try my best to make it there by 6. Right, managed to book myself a room, and looking at the map, we are coming up on the hostel.
Yeah, what a day that was. I remember arriving in the hostel and like nobody was there. I went in and was like, oh, sumimasen, is one there? But nobody answered. And just as I was about to leave, the owner came out. And so I was like, oh, I technically just made a reservation, but is there a room available? But, he was slightly confused because I was literally standing at his door with my bike sort of panting, going like, oh my god, let me in please. But then, obviously he was really nice. He was like, oh yeah, sure, come on in. He offered me a drink and gave me a map of town as well. And so yeah, after just unpacking everything, I just went out and grabbed myself some food.
Right, finally arrived at the hostel. Unfortunately there aren't any restaurants open nearby, so managed to get myself a microwave meal at a 7-Eleven. Yeah, I believe I'm the only one here tonight, so I've got the place all to myself. I'm just gonna have my dinner, shower, and then just get some rest, I guess. But that's day one, so yeah. Right, morning. This is day 2. It's currently 8:24, and today we'll be cycling all the way to Fukui. So again, it should be shorter than yesterday. It should be around like 85 kilometers. Yeah, I mean the weather seems to be holding up so far. I'm not sure if it's going to rain later, but yeah, here we go. I'm not sure if it's because we're in the countryside, but it genuinely feels a lot cooler here, which is nice. First stop of the day is a city called Tsuruga, and unfortunately, to get there, we have to cross an entire mountain range, because basically Lake Biwa is surrounded by mountains, and as you can see, it's entirely uphill. I'm not sure how well it's showing on the camera. To be fair, the incline isn't that much, but it is long. Yeah, we're about 16-17 kilometers from Tsuruga, so I'm planning to grab something at a 7-Eleven once I get there. But yeah, for the moment, uphill, and more uphill.
Day 2 got off to a pretty good start, to be honest. I managed to get to Tsuruga quite early, so I decided to spend some time exploring the city. But that was when I came across this. turns out the city was holding their annual Shinko festival. It's one of the largest festivals in the area held in autumn, but I was definitely not expecting to see people running down the streets with shrines on their head at 10 in the morning. But it was great. It was such a big festival, and it was quite spectacular by all accounts.
So this is the Sea of Japan. It is so hot right now, but the view more than makes up for it. I just finished lunch and right now I'm just looking at accommodation for the night, and I think I managed to find this room on Airbnb. It is quite cheap and the reviews seem pretty good, so might as well book it now. But, yeah.
After another couple of hours, I finally made it to Fukui. Perfect timing too, because just then, the sky cleared up.
Hello. It's around 11 p.m. I'm a bit tired right now, as you can probably tell. Tomorrow we'll be heading to Kanazawa. It should be around 90 kilometers or so. Today is actually much longer than originally planned. It ended up being around 110 kilometers. No, it wasn't that bad, but still, hopefully tomorrow's gonna be easier. So I could, spend some time flying the drone or whatever. But yeah, that's day 2 pretty much. I'll see you tomorrow. Morning everyone, on a beautiful day. We're just heading over to Fukui station because, well, if you guys don't know, Fukui is actually famous for dinosaurs, or rather, dinosaur fossils. So they kind of made the entire station look like something out of Jurassic Park. So, yeah, we're just gonna head over and check it out. My God. I mean, it is pretty surreal just coming here and seeing like 3 animatronic dinosaurs outside the train station. Yeah, I don't know much about Fukui, but like every time I type Fukui on Google, like pictures of dinosaurs like come up, and just it is definitely one of the more interesting train stations I've been to in Japan. Pretty cool indeed.
Day 3 was by far the hottest day, even more so than the day before. Remember, temperatures were consistently hitting above 36 degrees. Normally, I've been complaining my arse off, but the stretch between Fukui and Kanazawa probably had some of the best sceneries of the entire trip. second half of the day was definitely less fun. The sun was just coming in from all sides. I remember at one point I even got mild heat stroke. But the worst thing was definitely the headwind, because no matter how hard I pedaled, I just couldn't keep a steady pace. Like, it just sucked the soul out of me, honestly. But after many gruesome hours, the end was in sight.
Right, we've officially entered Kanazawa. We're about 5 kilometers from the hostel. So I guess I'll see you when I get there.
Yeah, so I didn't really shoot anything that night apart from me here eating a hambe. But also, day 3 kind of ended with a bit of a conundrum in that I was originally planning to head to the town of Shirakago, which is this really picturesque town deep in the mountains of Gifu. But when I was looking up for places to stay, well, they were once again fully booked. So, because of that, I decided to extend the trip by a day and head to the nearby city of Toyama instead.
Hello there, just left the hostel. Because today's route's going to be much shorter now that we're going to Toyama, and we're just going to spend the morning exploring Kanazawa, because, yesterday we came in so late. Might as well spend the morning going around the city. I know there's a very famous fish market nearby, so I'm going to head there first.
So that's Kanazawa. Honestly, after leaving the city, I didn't think there was anything for me to shoot because the entire route was basically just a bunch of rice fields again. But, well, that was until I stumbled upon this.
Oh my god. Look at that. There's literally nobody here. And yet, freaking tower, freaking observation tower, and a helicopter. Right, so we've entered Toyama. Distance to the hostel, 2 kilometers. Oh, there it is. Morning everybody, just left the hostel. Today we are cycling 90 kilometers from Toyama to Takayama. But just before we get going, apparently there is a Starbucks that was voted in 2016 as the most beautiful Starbucks in all of Japan. So I really want to check it out. Right, so this is our last stop before heading into the mountains. Got myself a car and sweats. There seems to be a restaurant around 22 kilometers down the road. That will probably be our lunch point of the day. It's currently 11:15, so we're still pretty early, but still, it's all uphill from here. I'm genuinely quite worried, but yeah, here goes. We are approaching Hida. It's currently around 3:30 p.m. Takayama should be, I'd say, 20 kilometers from here. Again, beautiful day today.
I mean, looking back, day 5 couldn't have gone any better. Like, I was originally quite worried about the uphill, because Takayama is deep within the Japanese Alps, and Google Map was like, oh my god, you have to climb through like 2,000 meters worth of elevation gain and like go through like 2 mountain ranges. I was like, oh my god, what? But it wasn't as bad as I thought. Unfortunately, things would take a turn for the worse the next day, because there was once again no hostels available in the town I was planning to get to, and the closest place I could find was over 120 kilometers away.
I just went over to the old town, and it looks stunning. Like, it reminds me of the geisha district in Kanazawa. It kind of looks similar, but today is a Saturday, so there were loads more tourists than I thought. But, yeah, I would have loved to stay longer, but unfortunately, today time's not our ally, so have to, kind of move on. I was originally going to follow the main road, like through different towns, but right now I'm taking this apparently shorter route that cuts directly through the mountains. I'm really betting on Google today. If anything goes wrong, I might have to turn around and cycle an extra 40 kilometers. I don't know, but let's see. I jinxed it. No! Talk about bad luck, because we're literally halfway through already. So going back and having to go the other way now, like at this rate, I'm not sure when we'll actually get to the hostel tonight. Like, honestly. Thank God it's all downhill, turning back. But still, my God. They could have placed a sign earlier telling us this fucking road is closed. Oh man, okay. Oh god.
I mean, in hindsight, kind of my fault. I had a hunch the road might be closed because there was literally a typhoon that swept through the area like a week ago. So, should have known. But I guess At least I didn't see any bears. Like, can you imagine like this turning into like a shoddy found footage horror film with me getting chased by a bear? But anyway, after many hours of catching up, I finally made it to the last major city of the day, Ghetto. Maybe because I wasn't filming, but that afternoon cycling from Ghetto to Mino, where the hostel was, that was quite possibly one of my favorite stretches of the entire trip. I mean, not because of the scenery or the food, but because of how rural the entire area was. It genuinely felt like entering a liminal space, if that makes sense. Like there weren't any villages, there weren't any signposts. Heck, there weren't any vending machines in sight. Like that's when you know you're in the middle of nowhere. And as I was approaching Mino, I had to cross a little forest basically, and it was getting dark as well. So in hindsight, yes, it was kind of creepy. But then at the time, I remember just feeling weirdly refreshed. I don't really know how to describe it, but I guess it's one of the reasons why I love solo traveling so much. It's that sense of adventure and getting to explore these hidden places.
Right, hello. I'm currently at a Lawson having dinner inside. It's around 7:20 right now, so it's pretty much pitch black. And yeah, I mean, today's just been brutal, really. We still have around 18 kilometers left, so I'm hoping we can get there before 8:30. But we'll see. Yeah. It's very late at night, so I have to keep my voice down. So yeah, today's just been absolutely brutal. I'm really surprised I made it, and this place is pretty nice, but it is very remote. I literally thought I was in a ghost town or something. But
Another rewarding part about solo traveling, I guess, is just being able to meet different people along the way. Like, yeah, it is a cliche, but people do make the journey. Like, a lot of people I met on this trip genuinely had really interesting stories to tell. Like, case in point, that night there was a lovely family that's staying there as well, and they couldn't really speak English, but I was just able to make out what they were saying with my, shit Japanese, and it was fascinating hearing about their sort of road trip across central Japan. And some younger sister as well. She was really cute. She was jumping around, having the time of her life. Like that was easily one of the highlights of the trip as well, I'd say.
So yeah, I mean, Ogaki is actually the place where A Silent Voice is set. So since we're still quite early today, I'm just going to spend some time cycling around town trying to find a couple more these sort of film locations. We're 14 kilometers from our hostel tonight, and we're stopping here in Sekigahara. And this is the place where apparently the largest battle in Japan took place a couple hundred years ago. We are 2 minutes away from tonight's hostel. It's currently 5:30, so to be honest, we're pretty early. So just gonna get there, settle down, take a shower, and have a good rest. But good day today. Very hot, but beautiful scenery again.
So, yeah, if you can't tell by now, I love A Silent Voice. I mean, it's a film about loads of things, about like bullying, self-forgiveness, mental health, but it is a really powerful film, and I definitely recommend giving it a go, even if anime's not your thing. But anyway, after a good night's rest, it was officially the final day of the trip.
Right. Good morning, everybody. Again, today is our last day of the trip, and we're currently in the outskirts of Maibara, cycling to Hikone Castle. It's around 12 kilometers, so we should get there within the hour. And here we are, Hikone Castle. It's pretty epic. Right, so we just came across this very old Japanese merchant village. I believe it's called Hachimanbori Moat. I don't know much about this place, but it does feel a lot like Kyoto. It's around 2 p.m. right now, so we're a little bit behind schedule, but still, today is not a long day, so we should be able to get back to Kyoto before dark. So, yeah.
So that was 8 days of cycling Japan. Honestly, cycling 100 kilometers a day wasn't that bad. It was certainly manageable. But then when you also have to film everything yourself, well, that's when things get hectic. Because with videos like this, as much as you plan ahead, you can't script it as if it's a short film, so you're constantly thinking about the shots you need for the narrative to make sense. Especially for those third-person shots that I really like, but for those you kind of set the camera up and walk back and forth, like, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it again, but I'd say it was worth it, because editing this video was just so much fun. I get to basically relive the entire experience again. And some of the places on the trip was just phenomenal, like, especially the stretch between Fukui and Kanazawa, and Takayama as well, I'd say. So if you're looking to travel to Japan, I honestly can't recommend enough spend a couple of days outside the city, because Japan is just so much more than Tokyo and Osaka. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see ya.